everyone, and welcome to Art Me at Home with arts and crafts for everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm so excited to share with you this art project that you can do at home with your family and friends. This week we are going to make these colorful pendants that you can put on a necklace. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure we have a table that's clean and ready to go for us to make our art project. After that, we are going to need to put on a shirt or an apron so that way we can stay clean. I'm going to go ahead and put on my apron. Yours doesn't need to be an apron, yours can be a t-shirt, or you can just be very careful and then you don't need to wear anything at all. Alright, so let's take a minute and we're going to look at all the supplies we need for this week's project. This week we are going to need quite a little bit of different supplies, so I'm going to list them all out, and then we're going to go from there. We are going to need some cardboard. I cut my cardboard up into small squares. They're about the size of the palm of my hand, and it can be cardboard that can come from any type of box, a pizza box, anything that you can find at home. We are going to need some tin foil. These are quite large sheets of tin foil. You probably just need maybe one this size, maybe even a little smaller. I got some colored Sharpies here. We really need Sharpies because we are going to be coloring on the tin foil. And if you don't have a Sharpie, if you just have regular markers, Crayola markers, it's not going to work. It's going to kind of rub off every single time you touch it. So you need the Sharpies so that way it's permanent and it stays. The next thing we need is some string, or this is kind of some plastic string. It can be whatever you can find. You can use string, you can use wire, you can use this plastic, or even if you don't have this, there are some other options I'll mention throughout the video that you can use. A pencil, a pair of scissors, some tape, and a glue stick. Those are all the supplies we need for this project. Very simple, very easy. And we are going to make some fun, colorful pendants. We're going to make some that are maybe a little more abstract. And then we're going to make some that has some letters on it. Alright, I'm going to go through the whole process. We're going to use all of these. Remember, have fun. Pause the video if you need to at any time. But we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to make pendants.
Alright, so we have some of our art supplies that we're going to start with. We have our example. We are going to make this abstract pendant first. I'm going to go ahead and place this down here. So the first thing we need is just one piece of cardboard, so just one square. This is maybe about 3 inches by 3 inches. Yours can be a different size. We need something that can be a circular shape that we are going to trace onto the cardboard. So right here I just have a little bottle. You're going to put it on top, take your pencil, and then trace the outline of it. So go all the way around. Alright, mine might be hard to see, but my outline is right there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors. We're going to follow that outline the best we can, and we're going to go all the way around so we have a circle for our pendant. It doesn't need to be perfect, just the best circle that you can get. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw my scraps away. Alright, so now I have my circle. It's about the size of the palm of my hand. The next supplies we are going to need is we are going to need our string. So mine isn't exactly string, mine's more of this kind of plastic string. And I'm going to get my tape out so I'm ready to go. We are just going to take our string or whatever supplies you might have, such as hot glue. We're going to take one end, we're going to put it down, and we are going to tape that end down so that way it stays. If you don't have string, you can always use like hot glue. If you do hot glue, you just wait for it to dry so we have that raised area. So, but if you're working with string or yarn, we're going to kind of just wrap this around so we can kind of get that abstract look. So I'm going to wrap it around once, kind of turn it a little bit. I'm going to use my finger to kind of hold it in place the best that I can. You might need a buddy to help you complete this. It's a little hard to do, but I'm going to keep turning and twisting and turning and twisting until I use about the rest of my string, or till whenever I feel like it's good. Alright, I'm going to cut off this extra bit because I feel like that's a little too much. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Going to move that out of the way. Oops, part of my string kind of fell off, so I had to move that over. Now I'm going to tape this last bit down. See, this is when you might need a buddy. I had to use my scissors to hold it down. So I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to tape down that little extra bit of string so it stays in place. I'm really gonna press that down so hopefully that sticks. Flip it over, see if it looks good. Move some of the strings around if you feel like you need to adjust it a little bit. Alright, and I think that's good. So the next thing we're going to need is we are going to need our tin foil. We are going to be wrapping the tin foil around, and we're also going to need our glue stick. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to flip it over, and we're going to put it on top of our tin foil. It doesn't need to match perfectly. We're just going to kind of cut a nice square around, leaving just a good border so we have enough to wrap our pendant. Going to carefully cut that square around. Perfect. Gonna move my extras off to the side. Gonna smooth it out a little bit. Then I'm gonna put my pendant right on top. So I'm gonna take my glue stick and I'm going to make sure I glue the back side of my pendant. So the side that has all of the tape on it, that's where I'm going to put my glue. That's going to be the back of my pendant. So you're going to put enough glue stick on it. And then after that, you are going to fold, you're going to fold the tin foil right on top. So you're just going to take an edge, fold it over, press it down a little bit, and then you're going to go bit by bit, and you're going to fold or wrap the tin foil over the pendant. And since it's tin foil, it folds very nicely and it will stay in place for the most part. But we just use a little bit of glue stick so that it has that extra stick and it will hopefully stay down. So as I'm folding it over, I'm also making sure I kind of rub it just a little bit so it stays. I'm going to maybe go over my edges just a little bit. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to rub the top, alright? You're going to take your finger and you're going to feel around and you're going to feel that string and you're going to just rub your finger right on top, nice and gentle. You don't want to push too hard or you could rip the tin foil. But you're just going to take your finger and rub it. Do you see how as I continue rubbing you can see the string underneath? Now I'm just going to kind of clean those edges off. I'm going to roll those over just a little bit. Awesome. And then if you feel like you want to get the edges a little bit better on your tin foil, you can use the back of your pencil, the eraser bit, and you can go over all of those edges and you can get some nice crisp and clean lines. Perfect. Alright, so the next thing we're going to pull out is we are going to pull out our Sharpies. We have lots of colors to choose from. The last colors I chose was some warm colors, so I'm going to choose 3 or 4 colors. I'm going to choose some cool colors to kind of switch it up. So the cool colors are the greens and the blues and the purples, so the end of our rainbow. I'm going to choose 4 colors. I'm going to move them off to the side so I'm ready to go. So I'm going to take my first color, I'm going to choose this purple. And whoops, before I start using my Sharpie, I'm going to put something underneath my pendant. I don't want to get my table messy with my permanent marker, so I'm going to put some cardboard underneath so I don't get it dirty. Alright, so we're just going to color in all of these little bits. The best way to do that is by doing an outline all around those edges, and then you're just going to simply fill it in. And you're going to fill it in however you want. You can do patterns, you can switch your colors all around. Really, this is all supposed to be fun, and you can decide what you want to do. Since we are using tinfoil, it's really important to use Sharpies or some type of permanent marker. If you use something just like Crayola markers, those are more water-based, and those won't stay. So if you don't have Sharpies, you can always use paint, but Sharpies is what I would recommend. Alright, so be careful. If you touch it right away, you might need to let it dry a little bit. It might be just a little sticky. Alright, so last thing we gotta do is we need this little hole that goes at the top, so that way it's considered a pendant and you can put it on a necklace. The best thing to use is a hole punch, but I don't have a hole punch, so I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm going to make sure I have my cardboard on the back, because I'm going to take my scissors, I'm going to take one end, and I'm going to push it through my pendant to kind of create that hole. So I'm going to take one end, push it through. You're really going to want an adult buddy to help you with this part. You're going to flip it over, find where you started that hole. You're going to push it through. Again, this is why it's important to be on top of cardboard, because you don't want to hurt your table underneath. Of course, if you have something else that might work better, like a hole punch, you are welcome to use that. But there we go. Now I have the hole through my pendant, and now this abstract pendant is complete. So again, the first thing we want to start with is our square piece of cardboard. And again, we are going to use our circle shape from the last time. And we are going to trace around that and try to get the best circle that we can. Once we got our circle, we are going to cut it. We are going to cut it out. You're going to want to be careful, make sure you take your time. Alright, I'm going to throw my scraps away. So the next thing I'm going to need is I'm going to bring my string back out. Since I am making a letter, we're going to kind of work in little strips. And I'm going to make sure I kind of have my tape ready to go. I'm going to take 2 pieces of tape. I'm going to take my 2 pieces of tape and I'm going to just have those ready to go. So I'm going to kind of stick those on the back of my hand. So that way they're ready to go. Alright, I'm going to take my string and I want to do a shape. Maybe I'm not going to do an S this time. I'm going to do maybe, how about the letter A for the beginning of the alphabet? This might be a little tricky, so you might have to kind of work a little bit, but that's why we have tape, so that way we can kind of tape everything down. So I'm going to tape the one edge of my letter A. So there's one side. I'm going to tape my other side down so it's ready to go. Alright, I'm going to cut that little extra bit off. And then to complete my A, I just need the little cross section that goes through. So I'm going to measure that out. And you, of course, don't have to do the letter A. You can do any letter you want. Maybe whatever letter is your first name, or whatever letter is the beginning of your last name. Whatever letter you want, and you can always write the letter down, so give yourself a little outline, draw it on before you do your string. That might help out too. Alright, so I got that taped down. I'm going to rub it really nice and good so it's all good and sticky. Alright, there we go. The next thing we need is our tin foil. Again, I'm going to put my pendant right on top. I'm going to leave a lot of extra space so I can fold it over. I'm going to put my extras off to the side. Again, we're going to flip it over. We are going to work on the back. We need to put our glue stick on the back so that way our tin foil has something to stick to. Awesome! Now it's time to do the folding. I'm going to fold over one edge, fold over a little bit more, and I'm going to go around the whole piece. As I'm folding them over, I'm making sure I really rub them so that way they will continue to stick in their fold. Alright, so I'm going to flip it back over to the front. Remember, this next part we are going to rub all around our string so we can see the string and all those lines right through it. Remember, don't push too hard. If you push too hard, you might accidentally rip your tin foil. Of course, if that happens, you can add another piece of tin foil on top or just carefully work around it. I decided I'm going to use the back of my eraser so that I can get some of those lines a little more sharp. So I'm going to gently go all around my string. Now I can really see that letter A. Awesome! So I was using cool colors last time, but I'm going to switch them up. So I'm going to put these Sharpies back in. So let's choose some of the warm colors this time. Perfect. Alright, so I'm going to choose one to start with. I'm going to use this pink. And let's fill in this middle shape. So again, just like last time, I'm going to give it a little outline. And then I'm going to color it all in. I think with this one, I'm going to kind of create this halo ombre effect. Oh, I forgot to work on my cardboard so that way my table doesn't get dirty. So I'm going to do this outline in yellow. And I kind of want to make an ombre between my yellow, my orange, and my red. So I'm going to start with my yellow. I'm going to give it a nice outline, kind of streaking it outwards. And I'm going to work all the way around my letter A. Of course, you don't have to do this design. If you have another idea, maybe you want to do different patterns, you can go ahead and do that. And of course, you can change up the colors as well. I'm going to choose my red and I'm going to do the outline. So I'm going to go all the way to the edges, give it a nice little outline. I'm going to add some little lines. I'm going to leave just a little bit of space between the yellow and the red. Don't forget, you can pause this video at any time if you need to. And then just a reminder that you really want to use permanent markers when you're working on tin foil. Otherwise, your colorings can rub right off. Now I'm going to take my orange and I'm going to blend the two colors together. Alright, so now my background is finished, but maybe we want that A to stick out a little bit more. I'm going to take my black and I'm just going to work right on top of my string, and I'm going to use that as my guide to color in my letter A. While I was working on this, I discovered that it's best to work with the side of the Sharpie. So instead of working on that nice point on the end, I'm going to kind of use the edges of it so that way I can color it in a little bit faster, and it's going to be a little neater, a little bit more clean. Alright, there is my letter A. But in order to finish, we need that hole so that we can put it on a string if we want to put it on a necklace. So again, I'm going to take my scissors, I'm going to work on top of cardboard, not on top of a table. And I'm going to take the point of my scissors and I'm going to push that through. Again, if you have a hole punch, you can use that as well. I'm going to push that through, create a nice hole with my scissors. Don't forget to have a buddy to help you. Alright, and so I'm going to show you that you just put the string right through, and that's how you would put it onto a necklace. Just like that. Alright, so these are my abstract examples and these are my letter examples.
These look amazing, everyone. Oh my goodness, you guys did such a good job. Thank you for joining me with Art Me Party at Home. Remember, you can come back here every Wednesday around noon for a new, simple, easy, and fun art project that you can do at home with your family and friends. We hope to see you again soon, and remember, just like your art projects, stay perfectly imperfect and artistically fabulous. Bye, everyone!